I asked Steve King if I could have the rights to it, and he was very kind in allowing that. It took 5 years for me to get around to writing it because I wanted my level of skill as a writer to match my ambition for that particular script. My favorite character in the whole piece, though, is James Whitmore as Brooks.
The Shawshank Redemption, 1994, isn't just a prison drama. It's one of the most unexpected legends in film history. Behind its quiet walls and unforgettable story lies a world of strange casting choices, hidden production secrets, and shocking decisions that almost changed everything. From Hollywood stars who almost took the lead to real-life locations that shaped its realism, every detail has a surprising twist. Now, for the first time, 20 weird facts reveal what really happened behind the scenes. So, what secrets turned the box office failure into a timeless masterpiece loved across generations? Number 20. Stephen King's quiet story became The Shawshank Redemption. Most people would never guess that The Shawshank Redemption comes from Stephen King. His name is usually linked with horror stories, evil clowns, cursed hotels, and frightening creatures hiding in the dark. But this story stands apart from all that. Instead of fear, it focuses on hope, patience, and quiet strength in very hard times. It was first written as a novella titled Rita Hayworth and Shawshank Redemption in 1982, and later included in the collection Different Seasons, which also produced Stand By Me, proving King can write powerful stories far beyond horror. Years later, filmmaker Frank Darabont came across the story and felt it needed to be brought to life on screen. At the time, he had very little money, so he started with Stephen King's Dollar Baby idea, which allowed filmmakers to buy adaptation rights for just $1. That small and humble beginning later grew into a full deal worth $5,000 for the complete rights. From such a simple start, the project slowly developed into one of the most loved films in cinema history, remembered for its emotional depth and lasting message of hope. A quiet beginning helped shape one of the greatest films ever made. But what other facts made it truly exceptional? And how far did the filmmakers go to bring this story to life? Now, let's uncover the next surprising fact. Number 19. The prison was real. Instead of building expensive sets, the filmmakers made a surprising choice. They used a real abandoned prison. The Ohio State Reformatory in Mansfield became the heart of the film. It was old, empty, and slowly breaking down. The walls were cracked, the paint was peeling, and dust covered almost everything. The place felt like time had stopped completely, which made it perfect for the story. Rather than change it, they used it exactly as it was. That decision gave the film a raw and real feeling that a set could never match. Even more interesting, some former prison guards who once worked there returned to appear as extras, adding an extra layer of truth that made the scenes feel even more real and believable. Other parts of the film were shot across Ohio. The opening car ride scene was filmed at Malabar Farm, while the courtroom scenes were shot in Upper Sandusky. Each location quietly added to the story's strong mood. One of the most powerful moments in the movie even came by accident. Two separate scenes were joined together because of time limits, and that unexpected choice ended up making the opening far more emotional and unforgettable. The makers of The Shawshank Redemption chose a real prison for the movie to make the story feel more authentic and avoid confusing the audience. But was there anything that even confused the filmmakers themselves during production? Now, let's uncover the next fact. Number 18. The original title caused total confusion. The film was originally titled Rita Hayworth and Shawshank Redemption, but that long name quickly caused confusion. Many people misunderstood it and thought the movie was actually about Rita Hayworth herself. In fact, casting agents even contacted the production asking what role she would play, which showed just how unclear the title sounded. Because of this, the decision was made to shorten it to The Shawshank Redemption. The new title was simpler, clearer, and easier for audiences to remember, helping the story stand on its own without confusion. Even so, Rita Hayworth was not removed from the heart of the story. Instead, the filmmakers found a creative way to keep her presence alive. Her films were shown inside the prison, where the inmates watched them on screen. This small detail gave the story a deeper meaning, showing how hope and imagination can reach even the darkest places. In this way, Rita Hayworth remained a symbol throughout the film, without taking attention away from the main message of freedom, friendship, and quiet strength. The initial title of the movie caused chaos before it was changed to the title it is popularly known for. But could more than one casting choice have also been confused? And how was it solved to keep the movie alive? Let's find out. Number 17. Andy could have been played by a Hollywood giant. Before Tim Robbins stepped into the role, several well-known actors were seriously considered for Andy Dufresne. Big Hollywood names like Tom Cruise, Tom Hanks, and Kevin Costner were all in the mix at different stages. At one point, director Rob Reiner even pushed strongly for Tom Cruise to take the part, believing he could carry the emotional weight of the story. But the direction of the film changed when Tim Robbins was finally chosen. At first glance, he didn't fit the usual idea of a strong or heroic leading man from the original story. He was not loud or flashy, and he didn't try to dominate every scene. Instead, he brought something deeper and more powerful. Robbins gave Andy a quiet strength that slowly grew over time. His calm presence, patience, and emotional depth made the character feel real and human. He showed hope without saying much, and pain without overacting. In the end, this unexpected casting choice became one of the film's greatest strengths, helping Andy Dufresne become one of the most memorable characters in movie history. Tim Robbins played the role of Andy Dufresne, even though he was not the initial preferred choice. But which other actor was almost cast but did not appear in the final version of the story? Now, let's explore the next fact. Number 16. Red was originally written very differently. In Stephen King's story, Red was written as an older white Irish man. In early development, the studio even thought about well-known actors like Harrison Ford and Gene Hackman for the role. But the filmmakers soon made a bold choice. Instead of strictly following the book description, they decided to focus on the right feeling for the character. That is when Morgan Freeman was chosen. From the very first moment he spoke, his calm and deep voice reshaped how Red was seen on screen. It added warmth, quiet wisdom, and a strong emotional feeling that made the story more real and deeply touching for viewers. Even more interesting, Freeman's narration was recorded before filming started. The crew actually played his voice on set to guide the mood and timing of scenes. Later, technical issues forced him to record everything again, and it took weeks of work. Still, that final narration became one of the most iconic voices in film history. Freeman practiced extensively to stay true to the film's requirements and ensure its success. But could a rule not related to humans also have been strictly followed during production? Now, let's explore the next unusual fact. Number 15. The strange worm rule was followed. Brooks's story is one of the most heartbreaking parts of the Shawshank Redemption. His quiet struggle with life after prison touches many viewers deeply. James Whitmore brought the character to life with such honesty that every small detail felt real. To make the performance even more natural, he even worked with a live crow on set, building a gentle bond that added warmth to his scenes. However, one simple moment caused an unexpected issue during filming. In a scene where Brooks feeds a worm to the bird, the crew ran into strict animal safety rules. The production team was told that the worm could not be harmed on camera. It had to already be naturally dead before filming could continue. So, even in such an emotional and human moment, the filmmakers had to carefully follow these unusual worm rules. It became a small but funny reminder that even powerful storytelling in films must still respect real-world safety guidelines, no matter how serious or sad the scene may be. The worm rule was followed to respect animal safety guidelines during filming. But which cast member's opinion was also respected before production began? And what was his perspective? Let's find out. Number 14. Brad Pitt was cast, but dropped out of the production. A young and still unknown Brad Pitt was originally cast to play Tommy in The Shawshank Redemption. At that time, he was just another rising actor trying to find his place in Hollywood, and the role seemed like a good step forward. But everything changed when Thelma and Louise was released. Pitt's small but unforgettable appearance in that film quickly turned him into a sudden breakout star almost overnight. With new attention and bigger opportunities coming his way, he decided to leave Shawshank behind and focus on growing his career. That unexpected change opened the door for someone else. Gil Bellows, who was just starting out in films, stepped into the role of Tommy instead. This casting shift quietly became part of the film's history. While Pitt's career soared in a different direction, Bellows delivered a solid performance that fit naturally into the story. It's one of those behind-the-scenes turns that shows how quickly fate can change in Hollywood, shaping both careers and the film itself in surprising ways. Brad Pitt left The Shawshank Redemption to take a role in another film. But could the storyline have discouraged him? And how did the other cast members react after reading the script? Let's dive into the next fact. Number 13. The script hooked everyone instantly. Morgan Freeman and Tim Robbins were both deeply moved when they first read the script of The Shawshank Redemption. The story touched them instantly. Freeman was so impressed that he didn't even ask which role he would play. He simply agreed to join the film without hesitation. Tim Robbins also felt the same way, later saying it was one of the best scripts he had ever come across in his career. However, the ending of the film was not always what audiences see today. In the original version, Red never reaches the beach, and the story ends on a quieter, more uncertain note. It left the outcome open, without clear closure. But the studio felt that audiences needed a stronger sense of hope. Because of that, the reunion scene between Red and Andy was added. This small but powerful change completely transformed the film's emotional impact. It gave viewers a feeling of relief, joy, and belief in second chances. In the end, that single decision helped turn the movie into a timeless story of hope and freedom. Both Morgan Freeman and Tim Robbins were convinced of the film's potential as soon as they read the script. But did their belief and participation in the movie pay off for them? Now, let's explore beyond the scenes. Number 12. The Shawshank Redemption transformed careers. Years after The Shawshank Redemption was released, Morgan Freeman and Tim Robbins both admitted the film changed their careers in lasting ways. For Freeman, his calm, powerful narration stood out and opened many new opportunities, especially in voiceover and storytelling roles. It turned his voice into something filmmakers trusted and audiences instantly recognized across many other projects. Tim Robbins also experienced a meaningful shift. Inspired by the story's message, he began working with real prisoners through acting programs inside correctional facilities. There, he helped inmates express themselves through performance and creativity. Many of them later told him that the film gave them hope and made them believe in the possibility of a better future, even in difficult conditions. In many ways, the story did not stay just a movie on a screen. It reached far beyond that and quietly touched real lives in unexpected places. For many viewers, especially those in prison, it became deeply personal. It offered comfort, hope, and a feeling that change was still possible. Beyond the film's success, beyond the screen and its impact on people's lives, what unusual facts lie behind the title of this successful movie? Let's find out. Number 11. Nobody could say the title correctly. When The Shawshank Redemption was first released, many people struggled just to say its name correctly. The title felt unusual and unfamiliar, so different versions began to spread. Some people called it Shimshank, others said Scrimshaw Redemption, and there were even completely wrong and funny versions that sounded nothing like the original. Even the cast later laughed about how confusing the title was at the beginning. It became a small joke during interviews and discussions about the film. Despite this early confusion, something interesting happened once audiences actually watched it. After seeing the story, people no longer forgot the name. The strong emotions, powerful scenes, and deep message made the title stick in their minds. What started as a difficult and awkward name slowly became one of the most recognized film titles in the world. In the end, the name may have been hard to say, but the story itself was impossible to forget. It proved that a powerful film can turn even a confusing title into something legendary and unforgettable over time for audiences everywhere. Although the title of the movie was not easy to pronounce, its success could not be denied. But what fact relates to the film's director? Let's uncover it in the next fact. Number 10. The director almost made a horror film instead. Frank Darabont originally planned to direct The Mist, another gripping story written by Stephen King. It was a dark, intense horror project, and it seemed like a natural next step for him at the time. However, as he thought more about his career, he began to hesitate. He didn't want to be seen only as a filmmaker who makes horror films. There was a desire inside him to tell a different kind of story, something deeper, something more human. So, he made a bold and risky choice. Instead of focusing on fear and darkness, he decided to go in a completely different direction and choose a story built on hope, patience, and quiet strength. That decision led him to The Shawshank Redemption. It was a major turning point that changed everything for him. What could have been just another horror film career path turned into something far more meaningful. In the end, this single choice helped create one of the most powerful and beloved films ever made, proving how one decision can completely reshape a legacy. The director could have chosen to make a horror film instead of The Shawshank Redemption, but how was he later rewarded for choosing this film over the others? Let's uncover the next fact. Number 9. The quiet act of respect that helped shape The Shawshank Redemption. Frank Darabont secured the rights to Stephen King's story for just $5,000, a small amount for something that would later become so legendary. At the time, it was a simple agreement between a young filmmaker and a famous author, but what happened next made it even more special. Instead of cashing the check, Stephen King chose to do something unexpected. He kept it for years, untouched, as a quiet sign of support for Darabont's passion project. Then, much later, he mailed the check back with a short handwritten note that said, "In case you ever need bail money." It sounded like a simple joke, but it had a deeper meaning behind it. It showed trust, respect, and real encouragement from one creator to another. Stephen King was not just selling a story, he was quietly supporting a vision and believing in what that story could become. This small but thoughtful gesture became part of the film's history, reminding people that behind great movies are often moments of kindness and belief that no one sees at first. Beyond Stephen King's kind gesture toward the film's director after its success, was the movie successful from the very beginning? Or did something happen that made people grow to love it over time? Let's find out. Number 8. The Shawshank Redemption slowly won the world's heart over time. At first, The Shawshank Redemption was seen as a disappointment. When it was released in theaters, it only earned around $16 million, which was very low compared to expectations. Many people thought the film had failed and quickly moved on to other movies. But over time, something unexpected began to happen. The story slowly found a second life. Award nominations brought it more attention, and soon after, VHS rentals started to rise sharply. People who missed it in theaters began discovering it at home, and they were deeply moved by its story. Then came television broadcasts, and with every rerun, the film reached even more people. Instead of fading away, it kept pulling viewers back. Audiences didn't just watch it once, they returned to it again and again, often introducing it to friends and family, turning it into a shared experience across generations. What was once called a box office failure gradually transformed into something far greater. Through time, patience, and word of mouth, the film grew into one of the most loved and respected movies in history, proving that true greatness is not always immediate. Although the movie struggled to gain audience approval at the beginning, it eventually became widely known. But to what extent was it actually accepted? Could it have gone on to become the most sought-after film of a particular year? Let's dive into the next fact. Number 7. It became the most rented movie of 1995. After struggling in cinemas, The Shawshank Redemption found a surprising second chance in a completely different place: home video. Instead of disappearing after its poor box office run, the film quietly returned to people's homes. Warner Brothers Home Video sent out about 320,000 VHS copies across the United States, an unusually large number for a movie that had not done well in theaters. At first, no one expected much from the film, but something surprising slowly began to happen. As people started renting it from video stores, they passed it on to friends and family, and the story began to spread. Strong word of mouth grew everywhere. Viewers were deeply moved by its message of hope, friendship, and survival. Many were so touched that they watched it again and again, turning it into something unforgettable. Before long, the film's reputation completely changed. By 1995, it had become the most rented film of the entire year. What once looked like a failure had turned into a growing success story. It proved that some movies do not find their audience immediately, but instead take time to be truly understood and loved. Beyond the film becoming the most rented movie of 1995, what was the opinion of script experts before it was released? And how much attention did it attract from directors and other film professionals? Now, let's uncover the battle for creative control. Number 6. Rob Reiner wanted to direct himself. After finishing the script for The Shawshank Redemption, Frank Darabont brought it to Castle Rock Entertainment, a powerful studio also known for popular projects like Seinfeld. This was a major moment because Castle Rock had strong control in Hollywood and the power to shape the film's future. Their decision would determine whether the story would ever reach the screen or stay just a written script. When Rob Reiner, one of Castle Rock's co-founders, read the script, he was deeply impressed. He connected with the story right away and believed it had great potential. In fact, he liked it so much that he wanted to direct the film himself. To secure the project, he even offered Darabont a deal worth a couple of $1 million for the script. But Darabont made a firm and difficult choice. Even though the offer was tempting, he refused to sell. He believed this story was personal and that he was the right person to bring it to life on screen. He insisted on directing it himself, holding on to his vision with patience and determination. That decision eventually shaped the film's unique identity and emotional depth. Beyond Rob Reiner being convinced by the film's potential and wanting to direct it himself, what other facts relate to the movie's cinematography? And what efforts were put in to make it truly exceptional? Let's find out. Number 5. Tim Robbins recommended the cinematographer. The powerful look of The Shawshank Redemption played a huge role in making the film so memorable, and much of that credit goes to cinematographer Roger Deakins. He is widely regarded as one of the greatest cinematographers in film history, with 15 Oscar nominations and 2 wins to his name. His work is known for its calm beauty, careful lighting, and emotional depth. Roger Deakins had already earned a strong reputation through his long work with the Coen brothers, where he helped create many films known for their powerful and memorable visuals. Because of this, Tim Robbins was already familiar with his style before he joined The Shawshank Redemption as Andy, trusting his eye for detail and storytelling. Impressed by his style, Robbins recommended Deakins to director Frank Darabont for the film. That simple suggestion turned out to be incredibly important. Once Deakins came on board, he helped shape the movie's unique visual tone, from its dark prison walls to its wide, hopeful ending scenes. His camera work quietly told the story alongside the actors, giving the film its unforgettable mood and emotional strength that still stays with viewers today. Tim Robbins recommended an Oscar-winning cinematographer who handled the film's visuals. But what subtle details did the cinematographer hide in the movie that were not easy to notice? Let's explore the next fact. Number 4. The mugshot secret. You probably missed many viewers assume that the young photo of Red shown in The Shawshank Redemption is simply a younger version of Morgan Freeman created for the story. But there's a real-life connection hidden in that detail. The photo is actually of his son, Alfonso Freeman, making it a quiet and meaningful personal touch within the film. And that is not his only appearance. If you pay close attention during the scene where new prisoners arrive at Shawshank, you will hear a voice shouting, "Fresh fish," from the crowd. That voice also belongs to Alfonso Freeman. It is a brief moment, easy to miss, but it adds another layer to his presence in the movie. These two small details create a hidden connection between father and son within the story. While most viewers never notice it, it makes the film feel even more human and personal behind the scenes. It is one of those subtle touches that quietly reminds us that sometimes the most meaningful moments in a film are the ones that are not immediately seen. Many people could have mistaken Morgan Freeman's son for a younger version of him in the film. But what hidden detail lies within this interpretation of the movie? And what compromises might have been made to ensure the project's success? Now, let's uncover how bold changes transformed The Shawshank Redemption. Number 3. The book and film are not the same. The film version of The Shawshank Redemption did not follow every detail from the original book. As the story moved from page to screen, several changes were made to shape it into a stronger cinematic experience. One of the biggest differences was the ending. In the film, it was made more hopeful and satisfying, giving audiences a clear sense of closure and emotional reward. Some of the darker elements from the book were also softened or removed. Certain characters originally had more complex and troubling backgrounds, but these details were simplified to keep the story focused and easier to follow. Even the antagonists were adjusted. Instead of multiple threatening figures, the film centered most of that tension on one powerful character, Warden Norton. These changes made the story feel cleaner and more direct, allowing viewers to connect more deeply with the main journey of hope, friendship, and survival. In the end, while some details were lost, the emotional impact became even stronger, helping the film reach a wider audience and leave a lasting impression. Beyond the film slightly changing some details from the original script to strengthen its meaning, what personal effort did a cast member make to bring his role to life? And how demanding was that effort? Let's unravel the next fact. Number 2. Andy's eyes hide a secret. In several scenes throughout The Shawshank Redemption, Andy Dufresne often appears unusually tired, with heavy eyes and a worn-out expression. At first glance, it looks like simple stress from prison life, the long days, the pressure, and the emotional weight he carries. But there is actually a deeper meaning hidden in those moments. Those dark, exhausted eyes are not just about stress. They quietly reveal something important that most viewers miss. Andy has been spending his nights secretly working on his escape tunnel, slowly and patiently carving his way to freedom. While others sleep, he is awake, focused, and determined. This subtle detail adds another layer to his character. It shows his discipline, his patience, and his unshakable hope. The film never loudly explains it, but it leaves small clues for careful viewers to notice. It is one of those quiet storytelling choices that makes the film even more powerful, proving that sometimes the most important parts of a story are hidden in the smallest details. Andy put in extra effort at night while others were resting. He stayed awake, quietly working toward his escape and shaping his character's journey. But was this effort worth it? And what overall success did his sacrifice bring to the story? Now, let's explore the most important fact. Number 1. The film refused to disappear. When The Shawshank Redemption was first released, it did not achieve the success many had hoped for. In fact, it struggled at the box office and quietly faded from theaters, leaving some to believe it would be forgotten. But that was only the beginning of its journey. Slowly, something remarkable began to happen. Through television reruns, home video rentals, and powerful word of mouth, the film started reaching new audiences. People who discovered it felt deeply connected to its story of hope, friendship, and quiet strength. They shared it with others, watched it again and again, and kept its message alive. Over time, the film quietly grew into something no one expected. What began as a modest release slowly turned into a global favorite, loved by millions. It kept returning to television screens again and again, across countries and generations, becoming one of the most replayed and unforgettable films in history. What started as a quiet and almost overlooked release transformed into a true global classic. Unlike many films that come and go, The Shawshank Redemption never really left its audience. It stayed in their hearts and minds, reminding them of hope, patience, and the power of never giving up. And in that way, its story continues to live on, timeless, powerful, and unforgettable. So, what do you think about the weird facts of The Shawshank Redemption? Which one of these weird facts surprised you the most? We would love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe.